There is no amount of preparation that would prepare me in the current state I'm in. I have overexerted my mind today trying to save my dang truck and figure out how I'm gonna do surgery and, I don't know, not lose transportation or leave my dog stranded out in the wilderness. But anyways, you know what? We're going to shut this off because lately I've noticed on StreamYard, it's kind of doubling down the music. It's glitchy and I don't like it. It's not coming across clear. Welcome to a muzzled chat. Here, why don't we do this classic bit? We could do that. We'll just have to see how that volume level works out for y'all. Oh my gosh, what a day. I hope and pray you're having a beautiful day out there. And I'm not here to spread doom and gloom, folks. There's a whole bunch of angles of attack that has been manipulating us and dumbing us down. And it truly does seem a lot of us in ways are being controlled. So let's try to acknowledge within ourselves is to not walking in insanity and who and what potentially could be influencing each and every one of us. It's no secret. Those that control information control the masses. There is a big war going on regarding information in and of itself. I talked with a close friend of mine just the other night, and she just recently visited Paris. While she was there, she couldn't access Rumble. Is anyone out in Paris at the moment? Can you, in fact, access Rumble? That is egregiously unacceptable if they are not allowing and they're controlling their populace in that sense. They will be manipulated, period. You could see they want to achieve that full tyranny right here in this country. And we got to fight tooth and nail to even keep what we have, yet abolish that level of tyranny across the board. That is warfare. Should I kick that off again? Why not? I'll just even dole it out. We can't even grasp how downright dangerous that is. Okay. Let's just dive into this episode and some of this content. I have quite a bit pulled up. We'll see what we can get through today. So, this is crazy. Dr. J, I don't even know. Clearly, I mean, you decide for yourself. But this footage, all this footage, real journalism happening here. People capturing these individuals, their actual intent. I mean, the degeneracy. These are the advisor for public health, New York City Mayor's Office, 2020 through 21, right during the height of the pandemic. Advisors for public health. It is appalling. Like, these are the individuals that were behind a lot of the narratives, the control of information, the censorship, the mandates, essentially what the world was following. They were very effective in manipulating the masses. Let's just take a real look into who, in fact, we were following. This is insanity.
I actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate.
Like, New York City found out that you have...
He was the one to convince the mayor to do a mandate? Oh my gosh, this is disgusting. sex parties during COVID. This individual, dare I even say demon, talks like a little freaking child. It's crazy.
And sex partings during COVID?
Yeah, it would have been a big show. Yeah, it would have been real bad. We went to some like underground like dance party like underneath a bank in Wall Street, and we were all rolling. We were all taking Molly, and everybody's high.
All doing drugs. Like, okay, like, continue.
I was so happy because I hadn't done that in like a year and a half, like a year or whatever.
What?
And but I was looking around being like, I wonder if anybody sees me looking differently because this was not COVID friendly. The only way I could do this job.
They're walking in their own hypocrisy, but it was a hierarchy. They don't freaking care. These were the people behind. We have been all manipulated. We need to gain back full discernment, rational thinking, critical thinking, challenge everything, and rule all this corruption out. Unbelievable. Disgusting.
For the city was if I had some way to blow off steam every now and then. You're kind of sneaky about it because hotels didn't want people gathering there. Because I was like running the entire corporate response of the city. My wife and I like had one with our friends, like in August of like that first summer. So we rented a hotel. It was fun. We all like took like Molly, and it was like 8 or 9 of us, and then 8 to 10 of us in a room, and everybody had a blast because everybody was like so pent up because it had been like everybody was just like stuck together and stuff like that. Yeah. And sometimes it isn't so much about like sex. Some it's just something about like bodies being close to each other, just being like naked with friends.
Just being naked with friends. How old is this fella?
But it was like the summer of 2020. So like walk around the streets and eat outdoors.
Did you have like
there wasn't any restrictions on gathering, like you could actually gather people. The hotels didn't want us at parties, but they weren't gonna like. Yeah. It's so funny. It's like this because I did all this like deviant like sexual stuff while I was like, like on TV and all this.
All this
Stuff. Yeah. And people are like, aren't you afraid? Aren't you embarrassed? And I was like, no, actually, I'm like really like I love being my authentic self. So the way we do it in public health is we make it
very uncomfortable to be unvaccinated.
To be unvaccinated. I don't expect the education to change your behavior. I'm just gonna make it really hard for you to do your job.
What? When you start gathering all this type of information, it becomes very clear that it was a scamdemic. This has all been control tactics. They've been very effective in controlling us, manipulating. Yeah.
You can't get a job. You can't go to a restaurant. Your kid can't go to school. It's like, okay, I'm just going to get vaccinated.
So was it technically like kind of forcing you?
Yeah. I mean, you force people by making it.
You force people by making it really uncomfortable. By infringing on all our rights. How did all the Nuremberg Code just go out the window due to their scamdemic? The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter the protections from our corrupted, infiltrated, occupied government. If we, the people, effectively, it's not even an awakening as much as it also's spiritually connecting, bringing God back in, and also in gaining those proper protections and miracles and blessings that have been kind of just stripped from us. But also eradicating all the poisons and toxins. We're going to go into it. I even did another clip today. I couldn't believe because my dog woke me up really early this morning. I wasn't happy about that, but I stepped out and I couldn't believe how gridded the sky was. And it just kind of occurred to me that there was seemingly more of this spraying of the skies happening while we sleep, just like the ramping up of frequencies while we sleep. It's very sly tactics, and a lot of it was dissipated by the regular time I got up. And we'll get into it, but that is literally dumbing us down because we're not addressing that. It's still happening. And I've used the analogy before, and we'll probably even do it 2 times in this episode, but the disconnect, because no one in their right mind would not address that level of poisoning. So just that analogy, and it's horrific to consider, but if our kids were being poisoned at school, or they're poisoned by the babysitter, or by any individual in this life, would we not do anything about it? Pretty sure any loving parent would lose their minds if they saw footage, if they heard. Just, you're hearing what's happening in the skies from me right now. You can see it yourself. So just because it's a specific individual you can't connect that to, you're not going to do anything about it, because the reality of the situation is it's happening to your kid pretty much every day, all day, every day. It's happening to you. It's happening to all of us. And I believe that becomes proof, because no one in their right mind wouldn't acknowledge what they're seeing or hearing, whether that was happening at school, babysitter, or in our skies. So we need to shut that down ASAP. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to, it seems, connect these dots quick enough before we're dumbed down enough. Really uncomfortable. All these tactics. Unbelievable. That merits a full investigation. That merits, I'm calling for the arrest of that individual. Unbelievable. You cannot infringe upon people's rights like that. Okay. This is a pretty powerful video. Let's go ahead and play this.
2020 is the code for healthy vision. It is also the year we were given the eyes to see.
The great Oz has spoken.
Today, the curtain has been pulled back to reveal the liars at the levers.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
They are masters of deception, hell-bent to divide and conquer.
Some radicals on the far right. It's not just the far left wackos.
Like magicians, they use the art of redirection to keep us distracted as they trick us. Nearly every war we have fought was initiated by their propaganda.
Iraq's weapons of mass destruction are controlled by a murderous tyrant.
As their empire of lies is collapsing, they are becoming increasingly desperate and dangerous.
It's why they're ramping up what they're doing in the skies. They're ramping up planned scamdemics to poison us, get us to line up and roll up our sleeves to their bioweapons. They're investing in weaponizing mosquitoes, tapping more in and more control over our food. This isn't just having a neurological impact. It's literally impacting everything we eat. We got to ramp up our detoxification protocols as we simultaneously address and put a stop to all this poisoning. Golly.
Russia, China, and Iran have announced the three nations are seeking to strengthen ties.
The alliance that's been formed should chill us all to the bone.
Their reckless war games have united a deadly alliance. Everything we have fought for, everything we've earned, and everything we love is under attack.
Terror suspects at the
Right.
southern border since the
At
beginning.
what point do we say, enough is enough?
Great question.
Now is the time for the American people to wake up and rise up. A rebel alliance is forming in the name of liberty and life. People of every color, culture, creed, and ideology are putting politics aside to secure the 8 pillars of peace and freedom. End the weaponization of science and medicine.
If there
Oh my gosh, absorb that. Yes.
is risk, there must be choice.
Cease the expansion of surveillance.
If there's risk, there must be choice no matter what. It's my body. And don't be mistaken with my body, my choice. Like, you can't eradicate the responsibility when you partake in the specific act of, making babies, right? We're talking medical procedures, shots, foreign substances. Are you kidding me? No. I choose natural. I choose the way God made me. That's what I choose. It would have to have extreme amounts of data. We'd have to rule out the corruption for me to even contemplate something. But it would need, if it were to be a shot or something, I don't even want to say. Because if they effectively do that to where people are dying in the streets and they come out with something, like, we have to rule out the corruption. There won't be any solutions to our benefit from these institutions. They've shown their colors. Anyway, let's continue.
Surveillance and propaganda.
They are killing us with censorship and propaganda.
100%.
Stop central bank digital currencies.
That will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply.
Prevent political abuse of our judicial system.
What we are demanding is, in fact, the restoration of the rule of law.
Secure our national borders.
I'm tired of the United States doing nothing to protect the American people.
Protect our children.
They're not doing nothing. They're enhancing the invasion. They're funding it, taking our money and funding that to our detriment. The fact we're just sitting back and allowing that, it truly is unbelievable. And yes, protect our children. Oh my God.
To defend our children and to save an entire generation.
Restore
Pro-life. We must expose a whole childhood vaccine schedule. We actually got more information on that in this very episode.
Or critical thinking in education.
I think that the time for change is now, and enough is enough.
Yes.
And above all, break our addiction to war.
The nuclear threat is an emergency of the highest order, and we are all in the crosshairs of this emergency.
We must set aside our differences, work together to fire those warmongering politicians from both political parties.
Everybody from the left, everybody from the right, everybody from the middle coming together to realize that we have more in common than divides us.
What unites us is so much stronger than anything that divides us.
We're a country of love. We're a country that care about people.
The one thing that brings us together here today is that we value life.
Every single principle on which the West is based is under simultaneous threat. We must defend the West.
Yes. The West. Powerful little clip, isn't it? We are so lost without our loving Creator. We have all, to an extent in our walk here, fallen prey to the devil's tactics as though we were attributing and supporting God's will. He is very cunning in this life. You know what? That's not a clip I queued up. There, you know what? We're going to jump right into it. I found it very even personally powerful, and it was more on the devil and some biblical reference points. It's going to be a ways down. I got really into sharing a lot of things. So here we go. Let's pop it in here. And yeah, we must send this far and wide. And this is why I like to more so do the disclaimer and refer to God as our loving creator, to not be mistaken, right? And also reference my Savior is Jesus Christ. Do not become deceived like too many in this world, in fact, have. Let's jump into this. It's a pretty powerful one.
Let's tell you a bit about the devil first, so that you've got a clear picture in your mind of what we're praying against. First of all, the Bible does not paint him as a horned creature with a forked tail. That's the sort of thing that makes us laugh at him, take him less than seriously. See, the Bible says he's a real person. The Bible never calls the devil it, always he. Next, the Bible says that he has a heart and a mind and a will, and if a heart and a mind and a will don't make a personality, I don't know what does. He talks about the devil's feelings, talks about his thoughts, and he talks about his motives. And that means to me a person. So the devil is not just a kind of vague word to sum up all the forces of evil in the world. No, he is a person in his own right. And if there were no human beings at all, Satan would still exist.
Right.
Now, Jesus himself took Satan desperately seriously. He never made a joke about him. He never laughed at him. He never caricatured him. Here are some of the titles that Jesus gave Satan. He said he is the prince of this world. When Satan offered Jesus all the kingdoms of the world, Jesus did not say they are not yours to give, because he knew perfectly well they were Satan's to give.
Wow. You can see so many people in positions of power, the actual God they chose. And it's not our loving creator. And they've gained a lot mortally in this existence. We're up against a lot, but still, we outnumber them. What are we to fear in this life? We're to pick up the sword and fight. God commands us.
And it is a horrible thought, if you really realize it, that the world in which we live is ruled over by Satan.
Right.
He is the prince of this world. But let's take it a step further. Do you know that another title Jesus gave to Satan? He said he's not only the ruler or prince of this world, he is the God of this world.
Kind of a mic drop. We must absorb that. It gives us, doesn't that direct us when we actually can see his will playing out in this very existence? Manipulating so many, pulling the wool over their eyes to their own detriment, because you could truly see the outcome is not loving from any of those worshipers at all. God, I pray we gain more of your discernment, our loving creator, and through Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit you have gifted us with.
The only other person beside his heavenly Father to whom Jesus ever applied the word God was Satan.
Wow.
He said, my heavenly Father is God of everything, but of this world, Satan is God, which means very simply not only that Satan controls this world and is able to manipulate science and education and politics for his own ends. More than that, Satan is actually the real God whom most people on earth worship.
Wow.
Whether
most people on earth worship. Yeah, I caution Christians. It is challenging. I personally knew some very beautifully hearted Christians that even in prayer about the whole shot, they supposedly they speak out as though they were directed to get the shot. I challenge anyone to really question who you might have been praying to. Who gave you those feelings? Did it? Because it doesn't, to me, it doesn't compute that our actual loving creator wants you to obtain free agency. Even in taking that shot, you're now putting more pressure on those that were standing strong. In fact, if enough people would have gotten it, it more so wouldn't have become a choice for those who stood strong. So you, in a way, in doing that, you push the envelope that much further from taking away others' free agency. There's nothing loving about that at all in the outcomes of those shots. So it does seem as a lot, like too many of us, and I genuinely feel I have been misled and misguided. It's not easy for one to really acknowledge within themselves that we've been deceived. But what is that? That's also demonic spirits whispering into our pride and ego, keeping us disconnected from the actual truth, the actual reality. And I believe it's just deceiving us, and we're tapping into the wrong God. The fear I see people walking in and not standing up for truth in this moment and absorbed in the mortally things of this existence. There's been insane sacrifice. That's where I'm saying, like, genuinely seek our loving creator, God's will for you in this life. I'm sure not everyone's path is going to be directed to essentially giving up everything and showing up on the front lines to the extent we're trying to here. But personally, with what has been put on my heart and with what I've been blessed with seeing, I can't imagine doing anything else. Even if it leads, in a huge way, it is leading to my financial ruin. But challenges accepted. That's just more sacrifice to be made in this existence on behalf of my dear brothers and sisters to whatever impact I could have. I know I'm showing up with a lot of mortal flaws myself, but the more we can humble ourselves, I really feel we will gain that discernment and more so being blessed with the courage, the strength, the clarity to stand up for what in fact is right. Not self-serving, not self-excused. And it's genuinely showing up out of love in this very blessed yet challenged moment in time we are all in. I know there's greater challenges coming our way. I don't even want to reference into sports. It sickens me to start seeing even advertisements about the NFL, kind of the new Coliseum, if you will, of this country, knowing how many individuals are just going to be seeking empty entertainment. And that's what it is. It's not even classified as a sport, folks. It's entertainment. So as to how honest the Coliseum events actually are or not kind of becomes irrelevant, because it is pulling us out of what really matters in this existence and showing up. It's distracting us. And there's so many other things than just that. Anyway, let's continue.
Whether they know it or not. That behind so much religion, behind so much activity, Satan is the one who's being worshipped. He's the person. And even by some who go to church and chapel on Sunday, in reality, he's their God.
Ooh, that's a hard one to absorb. It genuinely is. Think about it. The way Jesus spoke out on Satan, prince of this world, God of this world. Could he not also tap into our hearts in such a way and deceive us as though we're genuinely? That's why I'm challenging these pastors in these churches. if you're not getting engaged, it's clear to me that there's been worldly pressures on those churches, those individuals, if they're not completely misled themselves, to cave. They're not speaking up on behalf of your health, your well-being, your freedom, your free agency. Some of them not at all. Some of them, in fact, have gone the other way. And they've opened up into this woke, toxic ideology as though it is more loving. They don't want to be confrontational at all and challenge sin. It just saddens my heart because it's leading so many people astray and to their own detriment. Evil's effectively diminishing our light, our resilience, our abilities to even acknowledge what really is going on around us. It's why I could take a second and even be grateful for the Lyme disease, old school biowarfare. Because in a huge sense, as challenging as that has been for me, it's propelled me to achieve glimpses, just enough, of health and eradicating these things, and just led me profoundly to fight against how effective evil has been in this life. Because I've drank that Kool-Aid. And I'm trying to rewire things to the best of my abilities. And left to just me, it's going to be a minimal impact. I need all your help. Likes, shares, comments. Reach out to unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. Come bear your testimony. Come bear what God has blessed you in your life, from the challenges to the clarity and the peace you've gained. It's interesting. My heart can be incredibly saddened to see the needless suffering around me. But there's a great peace in showing up and doing all this. Did it happen overnight to me? No. I could see how individuals in my own life stay away from all this because they're like, I just can't. It's too painful. Well, God may have a different path for you. But I felt that way before as well. But the more I actually relied on our loving Creator, like He gifted this peace. In fact, if I don't show up and do this, I can feel as of right now, in this moment, that if I didn't show up, that would diminish my light. Like, I feel like it would chip away from the peace He's blessed me with. We just don't know till we genuinely question things and humble ourselves and really tap into it ourselves. And that's why I really encourage individuals to seek relationship with our loving Creator over any religion. Because I just haven't seen enough powerful leaders show up humbling themselves to rule out enough of their own character flaws or the pressures of this world and really challenge evil in this existence.
For they worship the things that He offers them. They want the things of the world that He belongs to and rules over, rather than setting their mind on the things that are above, where Jesus is. And if you want this world, and if you want the things of this world, then I give you a piece of advice. Make Satan your God. Wow. If you want this world, he's a wonderful God to have because he'll give it to you.
Wow.
There's always a price to pay. When the bill comes in, you may not be quite so happy, but he'll give it to you. He can give you money, he can give you fame, he can give you anything you want. Because it's his to give. Where have you been?
It's not worth it. None of it is worth it. Do not sell your soul. Even if he gave you this whole world and this existence, it's not worth it.
Satan, says God in the book of Job, well, I've been patrolling the earth, I've been looking around my estate. And he had. Now let's get this clear. That doesn't mean that God is helpless in this world. It does mean, and we've got to think this through, that God is allowing Satan to be prince of this world,
right.
God of this world. He's allowed it. And people say, what does God think he's doing allowing that? Well, I would just say my only answer to that one is, what's he doing allowing you to be like you are?
Boom.
Why should you blame him for allowing Satan to rebel when he allowed you to? The answer is very simple. He's a father and he will not force any of his creatures to go his way.
Wow.
And he gives you freedom to rebel.
Wow. Anyone in this life that is seeking to take away your freedom, whether it be your speech, your choices, that becomes so clear. Any church that pressured, that shows their God right there. They could claim Christianity all they want, but they've been duped. The wool's been pulled over their eyes. God is all about free agency. Oh my gosh. That just hit me on a soul level. I'm going to listen to this even more. What a blessing.
And we can't grumble about him giving the angels freedom, though they have superior intelligence and strength.
Wow.
Because he gave us the same freedom and we've used it in the wrong way.
Right.
Do you know there are 2 books in the Bible that the devil hates more than any other 2 books in the Bible? Out of all 66, there are 2 that say more about him than any others, and it's these that he has attacked more than any others.
Wow.
They are the one at the beginning and the one at the end. Genesis and Revelation.
Wow.
And you know why he hates them? Because Genesis describes his devices and Revelation describes his doom. And he hates those 2 books. And there has been more scholarly attack on the book of Genesis than any other book, and more attempt to turn it into myth and legend and away from fact than any other book in the Bible. Why? Because Satan doesn't want you to believe that Genesis 3 ever happened. He doesn't want you to know how he got hold of Eve. He doesn't want you to believe that he said what he did to that first married couple. And he attacks the book of Genesis. But the other book which he hates more than any other is the book of Revelation. Because as you read through that book, you come to a point where it says that the devil himself will be cast into the lake of fire. Do you know that Jesus told us to pray every day about the devil?
Wow.
Do you know that? The original prayer that he taught his disciples when they said, Lord, teach us to pray. He said, pray like this. Say, Dad in heaven. Then pray for the things he wants. His name, his will, his kingdom. Then he said, pray for the things you need. You need food, you need forgiveness. Then he said, finish by praying this. Deliver us from the evil one. We've turned evil into a thing in our thinking. It's not a thing, it's a person. There's no evil anywhere in the universe apart from persons. Evil is an intensely personal thing. There's no love in the universe apart from persons who love. Wow. And so evil is personal. And Jesus said, pray daily, deliver us from the evil one. Start your prayer by thinking of your dad in heaven, but end your prayer by thinking of the devil on earth. And go out to face him.
And go out to face him. What a strong ending. That's a good clip. All right, I'll be sure to, after this episode, include those, whether you share this episode or those individually. Let's seek that meekness as a child and humble ourselves. My heart goes out to Todd and his daughter, Alexis. Oh, this would be a tough one to even play. But institutions have been weaponized against we the people. God. Let's do what we can to save this young woman's life and all of ours by facing the true evil one's agendas leading so many people astray. We got to get these messages out. It's dimming our light and our abilities to even connect to what's true. And it's not just through the medical, boom, here we go. Why? My hat is off to Carter Country Meats, refusing to inject their animals with the mRNA bioweapons to our benefit.
Not for $10 million would we inject our animals with this mRNA vaccine that everybody's talking about. Wanted to address this. We've been getting a lot of questions recently and let everybody know where we stand, where Carter Country Meats stands. And if it is mandated, we won't comply.
Good.
Because we need to be clear that this mRNA...
Once again, mandates. Mandates, folks. It's taking away freedom. Who is behind that?
mRNA stuff, it is not a vaccine.
No.
It is a gene therapy. And I know there's
It's a
some very smart,
bioweapon.
very intelligent people out there, but when you get it to this level, you're playing God. And as far as I'm
not our loving God, the other one.
concerned, the last time I prayed, that position was already filled.
Yes.
And for two, we're not addressing the elephant in the room, which is the management. And when you operate in a regenerative practice and keep animals out and operating more in terms of the law of nature and not in this like highly confined environment,
it leads to more healthy animals. They've got it all figured out. There's only one reason why they're trying to control all of that. I know firsthand, when you get sickly and this biowarfare is effective, it completely hinders the point of even being here. We cannot sit back and allow these evil agendas. Full stop. I know I'm very repetitive here, but we're sounding the alarm because we haven't got unified enough. We haven't gotten loud enough. We haven't shut this down. They're more so gaining momentum on the mRNA injections of all of our food, creating other things. We got to put a stop to it now. We only have a small window of opportunity here before they become entirely effective through all these different means, all these different tactics. I mean, we got to absorb. Like, this is nothing new. We're going to play this in its entirety here real soon on one of these episodes. We'll be sure to throw this link in the episode as well if you just want to go ahead and dive into it. They've been doing this for a long time. This lady speaks out on the actual childhood vaccine. Let's give it a listen.
Yeah, I've heard Robert F. Kennedy Jr. say he's not necessarily against vaccines. He's just against unsafe vaccines. He just never find a safe one. So you're saying
they're all unsafe. They're not. Words should mean something to us. Either the word vaccine needs to turn into just as scary as bioweapon, or traditionally what we were under the guise it needs to fulfill, and it's none of them are fulfilling that. None of them.
your work is you just think they're all suspect.
I do, and I think that's a pretty good way to saying it. Wouldn't it be great if we could take out all of the metals, all the chemicals? You know, for years when I was a board-certified emergency medicine physician working in the ER, I really thought the only thing in a vaccine was a little dead or attenuated virus and a little bit of normal saline.
How were we under that illusion for so long? And to this day, too many.
It wasn't until September of 2000 that I actually...
That's where the pandemic and everything became a big blessing. It just opened the eyes of so many actually reading the package insert, actually looking in and doing their due diligence and research.
Read a package insert, and when I actually read a package insert and started researching all the different vaccines, I was mortified that if a child gets all of the vaccines in the entire schedule, they get almost 13,000 micrograms of aluminum, and they get almost 600 micrograms of mercury.
It's not
plus
good.
Over 200 different chemicals. And I had...
Wow. And she had no idea. And so it's the same situation of so many parents. Is this not? I mean, it's frustrating, but ignorance isn't bliss. We must open our eyes so we can become more efficient on addressing these things so they're a non-issue. You can see how, just connect the dots, how they've mandated it for school. They've infringed upon our freedom of choice very heavily. And when you really look into kind of more so the intention and what these individuals have stated that are behind all of it, it is not good at all.
I had no idea. So that's why they've never been proven to be safe. And why giving your child a vaccination is like injecting foreign matter into a little baby that's the most precious little thing in your life.
That is utter insanity. No one in their right mind would do that. Once again, it just becomes proof as to how diminished we've become. Not just blindly entrusting, because we're not seeing what's happening around us fast enough. We're not waking up fast enough. The whole intent here is to get people back on track and is to fulfilling God's purpose in this existence, our loving creator God, and not end up entirely deceived. I believe this takes away a lot of that resilience and makes it that much more challenging. But once again, there's biblical scripture stating God won't allow evil to effectively come between our connection with our loving creator. Doesn't mean it's not going to become more challenging. I've felt it firsthand. When you're in physical pain, you're not even thinking correctly. And it's no secret. So much of those chemicals, so much of those toxins and metals actually take away a lot of our neurological resilience. Is there anything more threatening in this existence than just that? We become imprisoned in our own minds, in our own bodies. And it could lead to defeating the very purpose as to why we're here. It does seem to me that we are in the latter days. It doesn't seem to me that, in fact, we're going to wake up fast enough to shift this tide. So what becomes the more important message at this point, if that, in fact, is going to be the outcome? Well, let's save souls along the way. That's genuinely the impressions I'm getting. And I know that could seem very doom and gloom, but it's the most beautiful thing we could be blessed with in this time. The devil's sitting there trying to break everyone and take them down with them. And God's just there to support us, love on us, encourage us, give us strength, give us peace, give us clarity, give us all the things. He's provided it with us. Work miracles in our existence just like Jesus did when he was here in the flesh. There have been miracles that have taken place in my own life. It is a miracle that I'm sitting in front of you speaking today. It wasn't that long ago. Now, dates and time, I don't really have a grasp on. I'd have to reference my journal, but I was on death's door. I couldn't even articulate my thoughts, yet speak them. Now, I know I still trip up, struggle to read the whole nine, but it's nothing shy of a miracle that I could actually sit here and articulate to the degree I am, defects and all. All right, let's dive into a solution here, because this was impressive. I ended up jumping down into show low, and I just felt impressed. I was like, I need to find that herb shop. I even had a family member months ago send me a connection to this very herb shop, and I was like, I depleted myself on the hunt. I depleted my nutrition and filled my body full of toxins through not vetting my food fast enough. We genuinely become what we eat. Genuinely. I smell it. I feel it. I haven't been able to put up weights. I'm still withering away. But I want to solidify within myself, because it's a slow turn. And when we fill ourselves with those toxins, when we're not feeding nutrition, we start going downhill, and it's hard to attribute because it's a slow process. We become what we eat, and we're diminished, and it's really hard to actually acknowledge as to what specifically led to the way we're feeling. And we want to blame an illness, blame a disease. And as much as this did attribute to Lyme symptoms, it just solidified within me that I already have the solutions I need to beat Lyme / everything else. And this is why I am so concerned. If we don't get a firm grasp on the sprays, on what they're doing with our food, then we won't have an abundance or enough of the healthy things that will give us the resilience, because I've felt the difference, and I can acknowledge and see what caused it. And that's the problem of being dumbed down. It's really hard to even absorb. I genuinely feel evil has been, and the devil god in this existence has been so effective that no one is walking fully 100%. We all have improvements to be had. So we got to take this quite literally deadly serious and continually tap into things that are only raising our resilience. And just like an herb shop I walked into in the valley, when I walked into this one, I had an overwhelming feeling as to everything my body needs is around me. I felt convicted in that. Now the trick becomes mortally, which things do I need which would be most beneficial to me right here, right now? I don't want to make this about me. I'm just speaking through my experience to hopefully raise the alarm and give solutions to other individuals. And the many powerful things that came of this very experience was individuals I ran into outside before I even entered the shop, because they had been on this path now for a while, and there were some rugged hunters. I was actually surprised to a lot of the individuals I ran into. Very powerful Christians as I was in. There was just such a blessing of just the encounters I had with everyone there. And I want to give a shout out to Lisa, in fact, because she actually had some great remedies and recommendations. And she even, she was very busy. And it was like everyone that came through those doors wanted, input from Lisa, it seemed. And she disappeared for a bit. And I figured, she's in the back. She just tended to some things. But she came out. She felt impressed. She's so in tune. These individuals have been walking the walk for some time. So I challenge folks to get into some of these shops, and it's never been more convenient to actually acquire genuine, healthy foods. I love Inspire Farms down there in Mesa. If you're in Arizona, check them out. I'd even like to vet, places that ship meat so we can more so acquire and source together, and, providing more solutions for individuals that aren't just here in Arizona. It's pretty wild to me on the actual audio versions of this podcast that California is next, like to listens and views to Arizona, my home state. And it almost looks like it's going to ramp past Arizona, which is kind of blowing my mind. Anyway, it just would be nice to have more solutions all around. And do I save this for another episode? Because it kind of does. You know what? It's a pretty powerful read. I'll just read some of it. So Lisa stepped in the back and literally put this book. She felt inspired. So I want to thank you, Lisa, for listening to that inspiration, because this has hit me very profoundly. And this is why they've come after our nuclear families and came to divide us up. And we can more so fulfill our existence here, I feel, if we actually absorb what even this states right here. So it states, don't, and I don't even know what book this comes from. I don't know if this is the title of the book or just the chapter. It says, connect, don't ditch your bloodline. It's crazy to see so many people stepping away from their families like it's no big deal. Like it's not going to create any distortions or imbalances in their lives. When someone just cuts all ties to their lineage, it's cuckoo. This disconnect, which I see fragmenting so many families, is a huge issue, especially in spiritual communities. Where people are running their loved ones. Whoa, I totally just lost my place here. I apologize. Where was I? Where people are running their love and light trips and can't deal. Am I reading this incorrectly? I'm so sorry. Here's my own character flaws. I'm just eating some humble pie right here live. Where people are running their love and light trips and can't deal with the emotions their family dynamics trigger. Been there. Because they ruffle their auras, the shiz out of their chakras, or whatever. I'd like to add the spiritual aspect with our loving creator to this existence. 100%. People need to stay connected to their bloodline, period. People need to deal with the issues their family triggers. We've lost our resilience in such a way, and I've been there. I've pointed the finger at family members so profoundly throughout my walk here. I ask for your forgiveness. I didn't have the resilience. I had too many talks, and I don't mean to excuse. I'm just acknowledging the state I was in. I just didn't gain that resilience. But it can be had. I was way triggered. And they need to see them as opportunities to grow. That's so powerful. And to evolve their genetic lineage. Our family junkery is no different from our individual junkery. Girl, yeah. We don't run away from it. We shouldn't run away from it. We need to challenge ourselves on that. We don't empower the darkness by fragmenting our fractal lines and avoiding the issues that we needed, that are needing, holy smokes, that are needing our love and acceptance to transform. We engage that shiz. We shake it up. We wake up, which means we embrace the family shadow. Wow. Some may even state family curse. And we use every last one of its reflections and its challenges and its uncomfortable dynamics to grow and get lit. Let's go. Many of the issues people are dealing with aren't even about them, meaning those other individuals. We're so narcissistic. Been there. Trying to rule that entirely out. People love to personalize everything. Isn't that the truth? We must absorb the truth. But a lot of what comes up for people in their family dynamics is totally impersonal and is being triggered so that they can help shift their lineage into a higher and more aligned state of consciousness and spirituality, I'll add. When we grow, not only do we evolve ourselves as individuals, but we also evolve our entire family bloodline. Not just our bloodline, but everyone we're engaged with in this existence. This is also proof as to how we've been diminished. We're not challenging ourselves in this way. We're not excited to challenge ourselves in this way. To everyone's benefit, ours included. True narcissism, right? You see, you are not here just for you. Is everyone bouncing out of here now at this point? Because this is profound truth. You are here to be of service to your ancestors, all of God's children around you, to those who've walked before you, and to those who will someday join you. Because all you exist in the quantum now, which means your efforts, your love, and your evolution serve the entire fractal line. Thank you, Lisa. And it goes on. And some of it seems a little, not really integrating our loving creator. How do I say it? In a way, it seems to more kind of like hippie, tap into nature and ancestry. And I know there's spiritual connection to it all, right? God created us in his image. And I believe that's tapping into a fragment, if you will, is to it's like God created this earth, created all of us, and there's all this spiritual, but it's without including our loving creator. We're walking in some of the light of the creator, but we're limiting ourselves, obviously, without bringing him into the picture to the fullest, the biggest picture, the biggest blessing. That makes sense? Anyway, it's hard for me to articulate. So check out some of the natural remedies, because there's a lot of things in here that will help detoxify the body, balance hormones, balance nutrition, get your neurons firing to where we become more resilient and we gain that resilience to show up to the fullest of our ability to address all these issues going around us. Now, this is kind of off topic just for a second, but bear with me. This alternative energy.org is a discounted solar, wind, and more service. And I've personally actually dealt with or had conversation and sat down with Larry himself. This even seems to be a 501c3. So for some that want to seek solar solutions or energy independence, I know some individuals are even like, want nothing to do with solar. I get you. But the fact is, I'm off grid. This is provided. Well, there's two different companies, but we're going to keep it to this one. I'm running on battery power right now, and Larry liked what I was doing enough that he discounted me some products, so I just feel impressed to plug everything they're doing. This gentleman is a whiz. He's been doing his thing for a long time. And the fact of the matter is, I didn't even show up with enough data as to what machinery, what basically, because that's kind of where you start. What do you need to power? And when you have that data, he will build out and give you options on systems, and at a more affordable cost than pretty much anywhere I've seen. So I will add this link in the comment section for anyone. It's near Sholo. It's kind of on the outskirts of Sholo, Arizona. But even if you're not here, you could probably call in and pick this man's brain, and who knows? There very well could be great benefit for you anywhere you are. And he seems to even deal with abnormal situations. Not many solar companies will actually go into depth on a camper trailer, a pull-behind trailer, and revamp it to the extent we have. So he definitely brings a lot more affordable options. Okay, back into the content. This, wow, I mean it when I stated, bless you, brother, for stating
Barack
these.
Obama.
Profound truth bombs. What an amazing young man. Let's go ahead and get back into just exposing more of their war tactics. But this is just showing you the reality of the situation and their hypocrisies. We read in the Bible and gave a lot of how God hates hypocrites. A strong verbiage from our loving Creator. So, anyway, let's play.
Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Which all have taken very profound stances on this whole global warming hoax.
All of these people will tell you that global warming is real and that the tides are rising. And yet they all own multi-million-dollar houses on the ocean.
Yeah, does that make sense?
You need to understand that 99% of the things that we are told are simply a Trojan horse to get us to comply to the narrative.
Yes.
They will tell us to use paper straws, and yet they will fly their private jets all around the world. They will make us pay for plastic bags, and yet everything in the grocery store is covered in plastic. There's a reason that these people do not practice what they preach unless there is a camera on them. You need to be extremely careful about who you listen to and understand that there is an intention behind everything in the media. Now it is your job to figure out who has the right intentions.
Holy smoke. Very profound challenges in a sense right there in the end. How are people seeing past that and believing these individuals in their hypocrisies? Once again, we have been diminished. That's more proof. World Economic Forum says they have the technology currently to control the masses, that humans are now hackable animals. They say it themselves. How are we disconnecting all that? Because they've effectively achieved that and implemented that. And it's led to genocide of so many beautiful individuals. Just because this won't be aired. Now, I know Donald Trump's showing up with a lot of character flaws, as we all. But to hone in on real intentions, like the Orange Man bad tactics were very effective. And these stories, untold stories, are not gaining proper exposure. And I've come across so many of them, like hours and hours. Some of them feel questionable. I'm not going to lie. But this man's emotion, you can't teach that, especially from like a New Yorker. You can't teach that. This hit profoundly for me, and we must still, let's challenge individuals like this. We can't idly sit by. No one's riding in on a white horse. No one. We must unify. We must ensure the direction of this country. And I don't even know, with red flags, like certain events happening, I believe they may try to kick off World War III to avoid the election from even happening, folks. You could see how they've attempted, like there's been multiple assassination attempts, and I don't believe they're going to be the last of them. But think about it for a second, is to, if they, God forbid, became effective in one of these attempts, and they had just the right connections to kick off their World War III and ignite the MAGA movement and hundreds of millions of individuals to get behind this needless war, we're screwed. We send out our military. Families are left here. Children and women are left here to fend off over 30 million invaders right here on the homeland. There's so many ways that this all could play out. We are not, once again, we should look into the intention behind things. We're not to just react like 9/11. It was beautiful to see the assembly of we the people, but we took a false, fictional, intended narrative to our detriment, and it led to how many years of endless wars? Who did that enrich? What was the real reason behind that? It's insane how we get duped, and they still have a good amount of power with their war machine, with the control they currently have on information. So we must gain discernment to see past what and actually see the truth is to things. So anyway, let's play this man's personal situation that he has to share.
I have an amazing story to tell you real quick about what President Trump's father, Fred Trump, did for myself, for my brother, for my sister, for my mother. 1974, my dad suffered a major heart attack. I went to the same school as Donald Trump, the Q Forest School. 3 days after my father's burial, there was a knock on the door one school morning, 7 a.m. I answered the door. It's a distinguished gentleman. I was 10 years old. My father just died. The gentleman said, "Kid, call your mom." I called my mom from upstairs. She came down. Gentleman said to my mom, "I am Fred Trump, Donald's father." And my mom says, "Yes, I know Donald went to the Q Forest School." And Mr. Fred Trump said to my mom, "Yes, Mrs. Rem, very sorry about Joseph's death. And what you don't know is I'm still on the Board of Trustees at the Q Forest School. And this morning, I let Headmaster Mr. Philip Rogers know that from this day forward, myself, Fred Trump, out of my own pocket, is going to pay for your 3 children's tuition, because I don't want the kids have to go back into the public school system." And the tuition in 1974 was $2,500 per child, $7,500, which is about $80,000, $100,000 in today's money. And who would do that except the President Trump's father? The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, and they give the Trump family grief. The Trump family is a wonderful family, the entire family, And who else? Can you picture Joseph Biden or Kamala Harris doing that? No.
Absolutely not.
All they care about is buying another mansion. I'm going to tell you, the Trump family is wonderful. I love you, Donald. I wish I could shake your hand. It was my mother's last dying wish to shake your hand and to thank your father, Fred Trump, for what he did for us kids in 1974 in Forest Hills, New York. I love you, President.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not going to get mainstream news media coverage at all. Okay, we got to absorb some things here, folks. How dumb do you have to be to fall for this? And they put a pretty bow on it. They wrap it, but literally think about it for a second. Whether, in fact, these individuals are trying to, there's a way, if their intentions were pure, if they, in fact, were being victimized and their lives were being threatened, then there's a proper way of addressing that. But it is not through censorship. It is not through the infringement of our speech. And I am convicted with the information I'm seeing. This literally, I don't know a better explanation than with what they're trying to do. Yeah, let's let criminals set laws to keep anyone from questioning their criminal activity. That is literally insane. We literally would have to be absolutely dumbed down to fall for that. Fact of the matter is, a lot of individuals are. I more so think people in positions of power aren't necessarily dumb enough to fall for this. They're being bribed, coerced, bought out. They're selling their souls for mortal gain and not pushing against this type of regime. Anyone who would infringe on free speech should be dealt with. Period. Full stop. They cannot be allowed to infringe on free speech. We should be allowed to question things. Otherwise, tyranny, whether it's these individuals or any individual, will 100% take advantage of that. So this is the president of the World Jewish Congress calling world leaders to pass laws that would put anti-Semites in prison. Basically anyone they deem is an anti-Semite. Anyone that challenges their narrative. This is so freaking dangerous. But don't take my word for it. You can literally hear this gentleman for himself.
All world leaders, all politicians, must lead in this effort.
Lead in this effort.
Words are not enough.
Words are not enough. They want action. They want laws infringing upon our free speech right here in this country. These are other world leaders, other individuals. Netanyahu himself, I heard it, threatened the American people themselves. If we boycott Israel, they will boycott us and we will be dealt with. What is another leader doing, threatening we the people? Why are our world leaders caving to blind allegiance? These are questions we all are all to seek answers for ourselves on. Now, we've connected a lot of the dots, but this has become an untouchable topic. This will get you nuked off the internet, like so many individuals, in fact, already have been. That means this very clip right here can't exist anywhere right now other than Rumble, other than X to an extent. There's ones that have pushed this narrative far enough on X and they've gotten the boot. Or Telegram. That should be incredibly alarming.
Political speeches are not enough.
Political speeches, wow.
Laws must be passed. Severe, tough, real laws.
Wow.
That will put these hate mongers away in prison for a long time.
Who's the hate mongers? That's not how you deal. If you're in fact faced with legitimate threats, I'm not. Anyone that challenges free speech should be stripped of their positions of power immediately, if not imprisoned themselves. Period. Full stop. You could hide behind anti-Semitism all you want, or anything. Whether you're trying to hide behind a skin color in this I'm not trying to discriminate on that fact. You're just trying to use these things to become untouchable, to impose tyranny. Let's say it for what it is. Let's see it for what it is. And that, my friends, is extremely dangerous. Never forget, it is not more loving to affirm this evil social contagion / someone's delusions. This, I believe, is more proof. Could it be, in fact, the childhood vaccine schedules? Could it be not dealing even with anti-parasitical cleanses, or just parasitical cleanses in this life, in this country, among other healthy things, that is leading more so to this becoming a reality than a social contagion? I think it's more. Could it be the sprays in the skies? Could it be the frequency warfare? Like, we really can't hone in till we eradicate. And the data and the information on any of these attacks is overwhelming. We've played it all, and there's more and more coming out, and the floodgates have opened. But just think about it. But this is a pretty cool clip, or powerful.
Every parent in America needs to see this video,
100%.
especially her warning at the end.
Everyone in my life immediately affirmed my new identity. The constant affirmation, both active and passive, solidified me in my transgender identity. No one meant to lock me into an identity that would later leave me broken, ashamed, and more confused than before. But the social transition eventually wasn't enough, and I soon felt I needed to take testosterone. And when that wasn't enough, I had a double mastectomy. And when that still wasn't enough, I had a total hysterectomy. And there's no point of contentment during a gender transition. We get fleeting moments of euphoria, but ultimately one step leads straight into the next. And I thought that in the end I could really become a man, but all I became was a mutilated and abused version of my old self.
Oh, my heart goes out to this woman. Gotta put a stop to this insanity.
Social transition is a big deal, and we're lying when we say that any of this is reversible.
They might censor this video, so please share it and maybe get the word out. It is dreadful what is happening to our nation's young people.
It is dreadful, and it's unacceptable. And once again, there's a lot of pastors and churches and Christians that are showing up under this delusion as though it's more loving to affirm their delusions. It is not. You could paint straps on a cow all you want. It doesn't make it a zebra. A man can't become a woman. A woman can't become a man. They could pretend all they want. But especially when it comes to our younglings. It's irreversible. It's mutilation. It's taking us further from God. The statistics on suicide, depression, everything is ramped up within that community. And it's a relatively new contagion, right? So they're trying to suppress the actual data at this point and pull the wool over our lives through affirming loving care clinics. Once again, those words mean something to us, but it, by the very definition, is far from the truth. We got to see this. We can't lose that grasp, like our touch with reality. Okay, this was today. I have images from the morning where there were definitive gridded lines. So later when I stepped out, you could see the spread and how this is dissipating. It is, guys, why are we not seeing this for what it is? Once again, to the parents, what did I state here? It's like, if someone was poisoning your kids, let's say at school, would you do anything about it? Well, fact, they are being poisoned pretty much all day, every day, you included. It's time for action. What's the difference? Whether it's an individual or an organization or a government, it doesn't matter. Let's get to the bottom of it and let's put a freaking stop to this. Your children, all your loved ones, as long as this is going on, even if it's banned in your state, you don't think the state next to you is bleeding that stuff over? We got to put a ban to this across the globe to not be impacted. unbelievable. The disconnect. We will, once again, right here. Oh, wrong clip. Right here. Frankenskies shows you the horrific geoengineering, chemtrails, and the poisons that are integrated into this. If this isn't enough to open your eyes, there is much, much more out there. But check this one out itself. We cannot go another day without addressing this issue. I know for a fact this is dimming my light. My ability to even connect things and articulate things in the most profound ways for you here today. I know that. It's time to take this serious because this is just breaking my heart. And if it impacts our food and our nutrition to the point, like, dude, we will just forever be, golly, diminished. So I just want to make it known. If folks aren't paying attention to the sky and what's happening, they more so would feel that, oh, all this is natural cloud. No. But look right there. Look at these streaks. That doesn't happen naturally. That's poison, folks. These were definitive lines, more so like that one over here, but it's dissipating. It's spreading out. When you pay attention and you see the chemtrail spraying, the poisoning of our skies, like I did earlier today, it becomes easier to discern, like, shoot, this is nothing natural. No. That's poisons in our sky. Nothing. You can see a newer developed one over there, but they slowly spread out and start dissipating and making formations like that. It's super alarming to see them specifically targeting nature, our wild game, all our food sources. If we don't freaking wake up to the actual truth sooner versus later, we're getting what we get. And we're going to be dumbed down, diminished. This is going to impact our neurological functions, our health, our entire lives. We must put a stop to this right now. Yeah. I don't know what people are waiting for as far as reaching out to state officials, getting on board, even sharing messages like this to wake up the masses. What the frick is wrong with people? Well, I believe that, my friends, is proof of a diminished man trying to shine the light and sound the alarm. But, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are you doing about this today? We're trying to bridge a gap. We're trying to do the heavy lifting. Send this far and wide. Utilize these clips at your disposal. Start reaching out to your state officials. Just like this, we know what's going on. This is unacceptable. Educate them. Send them the links to Frankenskies and all these things. You will be held accountable if you don't get this stopped in each and every one of our states. We need to start setting the precedents and make that go viral, and then we can stop it worldwide. Golly. Powerful documentary. This is a powerful interaction where a black conservative educating a white liberal who the party of racism is. Bless you, Hun, for speaking truth. If only more had the courage to speak out like you. Way to lead by example. I truly do love it. Let's let this motivate us.
These Democrats, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not trying to be racist, but they hate black people. These are the same people who fought to keep slavery in. These are the same people who built the KKK.
Right.
These are the same people who hated us from the beginning. The Republican Party is the party of the blacks. Blacks free. The Republican Party is the only party that the black people actually assisted in finding. But all of that history has been torn away. People say, oh, there was this big switch. There was never a big switch. There was never a big switch. So the same Democrats who hated black people from the beginning are the same ones who hate us now. And they use our cause. How did Black Lives Matter turn into something about LGBTQ? When blacks really don't support that. We're conservative. We're really not about that. Not only that, we don't support abortion. We're about workers. This is the black culture. Not only that, we're not about feminism. No, we're not. Black women marry their husbands and respect their husbands. That's what we're on. We're not on this, oh, I do what I want. We don't do that. That's not our community.
Bless you. Standing up, speaking on truth. Could you imagine if I tried addressing that liberal? I'm pretty sure she wouldn't absorb anything I was saying and push back. So it's awesome to see like who really is the racist party, and when certain pigmentation individuals show up and start spitting truth, like they're just like, it's like the fear of God got put into them. Very powerful. I just love all God's children that see past the bullshits in this life. Evil's tactics. The devil himself masquerading as God. This, oh, man, I want him on the podcast. He has tapped, well, how did I word it? He's tapped into a spirit, like the pure fruit of the spirit, and it's so beautiful. He's so strong. Thank you for these truth bombs. We'll end on this one, folks, but golly. I want to say more, but let's just dive in.
To the Democratic Party. I'm voting for Trump, but I have to say, you guys got me on this one. You're correct. I can definitely see that Trump is causing division. You guys have said over and over, you said, how can you as a Christian support somebody like Trump when all he's here to do is cause division and separation? And you're right. So let me read something to you.
Now I am going to state that the Dems more so are creating all this chaotic division to without actual truth behind it or anything. It's like a toxic division. What he touches on here regarding division in the truth sense, in the spiritual sense, so profound. There's a vast difference.
This is Luke 12, 51 through 56. And this is Jesus speaking in the Bible. Do you think that I have come to bring peace to this earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. From now on, 5 in one household will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3.
What division is Jesus speaking of? Because without proper truth and proper perspective as to the reality we're faced with in this existence, there is a division between the devil masquerading as God and God, the creator of it all, the loving creator of it all, giving us free agency, freedom of choice. There's a big divide between the two. And there's too many individuals riding the fence. The devil owns the fence in this life. We must acknowledge these two very real characters in our existence. Otherwise, we will be duped. We will be misled. This is powerful.
They will be divided. Father against son and son against father. Mother against daughter and daughter against mother. Mother-in-law against daughter-in-law and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. He also said to the crowds, when you see a cloud rising in the west, you immediately say, it's going to rain. And so it happens. And when you see the south wind blowing, you say, there will be a scorching heat. And it happens. But you are hypocrites. You know how to interpret the appearance of earth and sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time.
Wow.
This may have been written thousands of years ago, but make no mistake that this is for now.
100%.
You see a man running for president with his own money, his own funds. You see a man that for some reason all of the government, all of the media, all of the corporations have turned against him. You, with your own mouths, have said that he's here causing division. You, with your own eyes, have seen full-on Democrats switch to his side. You, with your own eyes, have seen 2 assassination attempts. You, with your own eyes, can see now that there's a complete separation with how people are voting. We're not voting red or blue anymore. It is obvious that we are now voting good and evil. Wow. We are now voting for God's laws or against God's laws. And it says it right here. When Jesus came the first time to die for our sins, he did not come to bring peace. He came to cause a division, to make there be a choice. You had a choice to choose a living God standing right in front of you or to choose the enemy. He made it clear. He made it obvious. He stated who he was. He stated what he stood for. And here we are again. And if you look at the policies, then you see who stands for God with their policies. It has become very clear which side is good and which side is evil.
Very clear.
You can talk about Trump all you want to, but it's not about Trump. It's about the choice to stand for God's laws or against God's laws. It's about the choice to stand for evil or against evil.
Yes.
It's obvious to see who the evil side is.
Yes.
And this is not to say that the Republican side is perfect. However, this is to show that the heart of the Republican side is for the laws of God. We are against the evil policies of the Democratic side. We are against the evil policies of Satan. We are against the evil policies of the satanic ways of the Democratic side, which have become very obvious. You, with your own mouths, have stated that Trump is here causing division. And best believe that is exactly what God is using him for. He is using Trump to make the division very easy to see for everybody. If you don't see it, you better start praying now.
Yeah.
We're rising up now. We've sat here long enough.
Amen.
And the time is coming. You are seeing prophecy be fulfilled right in your face.
Yeah.
You are seeing a division happening right now. And pretty soon a harvest will begin. A separation of the wheat and the tares. A collection of the people who are for God.
Yeah.
Believe me or don't believe me. It's not my job to force you to believe anything.
Wow.
However, I'm going to make sure that you have no excuse to say that you didn't know.
Yes. Wow.
It's coming, y'all. Be ready.
I know music in this existence can have grave impact, but man, his spirit is so beautiful and so strong that even without that encouraging background music, it might even be more profound without it. I just can see past it. And gosh, thank you, brother. I'm so grateful for men like that in this challenging time that can encourage people. I could just tell. I don't know. It encouraged me. I hope it blessed you and encouraged you and helped you gain the discernment in actually seeing. It's really not of man, this division. Jesus exposed that very clearly. It is our choice. It's entirely your choice. I just don't want people to fall prey to the evil ones for mortal gains. What is the point of that? When you tap into God's love, it becomes clear that this is not our home. It's not. Let's not be manipulated and get our minds back and not walk in insanity and allow certain who's or things to influence us. That's why it's so important that we get our spirits, our souls right, our minds right. In this mortal existence, unfortunately, we do need to take care of this body as though it's a temple. It's a gift. We need to eradicate these poisons evil is pumping. So let's go ahead and I'm sorry. I really hope this doesn't glitch sound like I've been hearing. Because right now it sounds all right. But on a lot of the playbacks, it's not. Might have to reach out to StreamYard. Well, let's dive in to this 1 minute prayers. This is challenging men right here. Real manhood. Let's go into the next one. Real manhood. Just look at my Father. This is written account of Adam's line. When God created man, he made man in his likeness of God. Genesis 5:1. Genesis, like that earlier clip, one of the books out of the Bible it seems the devil fears the most. I challenge us all to read that. And the next, Revelation, the beginning and the end of the Bible. How crazy. This short prayer reads, Lord, what do you see in me that reflects you? As I go about my day, are there moments where you shine through? I pray this is so. Have many of my efforts to succeed as a man steered me away from my Father's ways? That's a question every man should be asking himself, seemingly more now than ever. Lord, lead me back on track. Present me with the challenge to become more like you in all things. I pray that prayer right here, right now. Right now, I need patience and understanding. I need reassurance of my Father's love. You have blessed me in so many ways. Let me count these blessings and pray over my life so that the security of your love fills my heart. Thank you for caring about me, for creating me, and providing your Son as a model of manhood and godliness. The only godliness we should be seeking in this life, and not of the false god, the destroyer. Well, I said that funny as I make out with the mic. Now, I glimpsed at this after preparing a bit of today's episode, and you can't make this stuff up, folks. September 19th. Jesus is calling. Let's answer. There is a mighty battle going on for control of your mind. What? I created the title of this episode. I'm being honest, before I dove into this, and that's as far as I read, and I'm just like, thanks for your guidance. Wow. Heaven and earth intersect in your mind. The tugs of both spheres influence your thinking. I created you with the capacity to experience 4 tastes of heaven. Did I say it right? I believe so. When you shut out the world and focus on my presence, you can enjoy sitting with me in heavenly realms. I probably only experienced a sliver of that. Maybe a tiny sliver, and it's overflowed my cup. What a blessing. This is an incredible privilege reserved for precious ones who belong to me and seek my face. Your greatest strength is your desire to spend time communing with me. As you concentrate on me, my spirit fills your mind with life and peace. 100%. The world exerts a downward pull on your thoughts. Been there. I didn't always have the resilience to show up. And that's where, like many, to show up and engage in this war was just too overwhelming. I had too many pressures in this existence. And now I'm willing to give up every blessing in this existence to sound the alarm on what really freaking matters. Because that life and peace touched on right there is just brought clarity. Let's not get pulled downward. Media bombards us with greed, lust, and cynicism. When you face these things, pray for protection and discernment. Pray for protection against the evil one, just as Jesus counseled us to do. I myself haven't integrated that enough into my prayer life. Thank you for these tools. We all need to integrate them. It's your choice. Stay in continual communication with me. Whenever you walk through the wasteland of this world, refuse to worry, because this form of worldliness will weigh you down and block awareness of my presence. I see that too much. Even in my own life. It's a forever work in this mortal flawed existence. Stay alert, recognizing the battle being waged against your mind. Spiritually, biologically, nutritionally, there's so many things to be aware of, but we should be excited. Ignorance will not be blissful. I know we're beating that nail pretty hard as of late, but isn't it the truth? Look forward to an eternity of strife-free living reserved for you in heaven. 4 biblical references. I challenge you to look them up. We got Ephesians 2:6, Psalm 27:8, Romans 8:6, 1 John 2:15-17. That felt good. It just feels good. Thank you for giving me the resiliency to get over myself and my own woes and wearing out my mortal existence trying to figure out things to fix my dang truck. We are in a very limited state, but when we tap into that spiritual, I'm telling you, it's fuel. It's healing. It's nourishment. Didn't Jesus talk about that? About drinking? Those that drank, like, about quenching thirst, but those that drink of basically the fruit the truth he was spewing will never thirst again. I need to pull out the journal. I think I'm having even breakthroughs as we're live. And I'm grateful for that. So there's 2 separate ones here that jumped out at me. And they're just kind of across from each other. We got comfort. And we got courage. What do we go? I don't know. I'm getting steered to courage first. Courage. God gives us victory. Psalm 112:8. Jesus' strength gives us courage. 100%. We need more courageous men, yes, and women in this existence. Yeah. John 16:33. Courage helps us boldly represent Christ. Acts 4:31. We need more of that. with what Jesus conquered death, y'all. Is that too country? Why do I've been eyeing the sticks too long, I suppose. What else do we have to fear? True Christians should be the most courageous individuals ever to walk this earth. Period. Full stop. Christians should be courageous. 1 Corinthians 16:13. Enough Christians find that courage, guess what? There's a lot of blessing, a lot of end to all the needless suffering. God, a lot of lives and spirits, souls saved. Pray for courage. Ephesians 6:19 through 20. Christians can pray to God with confidence. Hebrew 4:16. Comfort. Friends should comfort each other. Job 2:12 through 13. God comforts us. Isaiah 41 through 11. God promises to comfort those who mourn. Matthew 5:4. God's Holy Spirit is our comforter. John 14:16. Jesus has overcome the world's troubles. 100%. John 16:33. Let that comfort your heart, your soul, your being in this existence, no matter what challenge or hardship we're faced. God comforts those who are hurting. 2 Corinthians 1:3 through 11. Christians should comfort one another. 1 Thessalonians 4:18. All pain will end. Revelation 21:3 through 4. That's it. God did the mic drop that time. Folks, if you're having problems making these connections, you're not feeling well, check out Bond Charge. Get their infrared sauna blanket. Through our link, you are getting 15% off. Sweat out them toxins. Get Masterpiece. It helps eradicate the heavy metals being rained down and injected into us, and forever chemicals that we're choosing to eat and put into our systems that are diminishing our light and our spiritual connections. Unchained Wellness, I know they're doing groundbreaking things. If you're in Arizona, reach out to them. Pure Benefits in Aesthetics and Wellness is also achieving that breakthrough for people. That's it. We just want to keep it to upping our health and our resilience and our connection to God. God, thank you for filling my heart in this moment. It's what's important. I see your love for all of us, and I hope we get on board with that, because we have nothing to fear in this existence. So let's show up on those front lines. Let's share this to the moon. Let's do what we can. Let's reach out to our state officials and state, I don't even know what's happening in the sky, but I wanted to stop. And if you're not going to stop it, we'll get someone else. And when the truth comes out, if it's something damning, if you haven't done your homework and you can't speak confidently and that's the verbiage you want to use, that's fine. We just got to ramp up the pressure. But if it's damning futuristically, we will hold you accountable. I love you all so much. I appreciate your support. God bless you. God bless this great nation. Until next time, take care.